break here. So let's get started today with our standing based stretches. We're going to work from top to bottom, from head to toe. So if you haven't already, go ahead and stand up. Let's relax the shoulders and arms at our sides. And let's begin with our simple head and neck turns. So keeping the eyes on the horizon line and simply turning the head from left to right. And once you've done about an equal number of head turns, return the head to its normal position, and we'll go into our neck rock and rolls. So chin to chest, and we'll rock and roll our head from side to side, bringing the ear over the shoulder, chin to chest, and ear over the other shoulder. And same thing here. Once you've done an equal number of rock and rolls to each side, return the chin to the chest and bring the head back to its normal position. And now we're gonna work that side of the neck. So if you'd like to, feel free to bring that arm behind the back for that deeper stretch. We're going to tip the head to the side, again, ear to the shoulder, whereas this one is just going to be a hold. So that static stretch, allowing that upper trapezius muscle of the neck to work in its flexibility, its elasticity. As you hold, feel free to reach up and add that gentle pressure through your fingertips for a deeper stretch. And release when you're ready. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, arm behind the back is optional, or it might look something like this. You're simply tipping the head to the side. Again, ear to the shoulder, keeping the shoulders relaxed, and allowing gravity and the weight of your head to stretch that muscle. And release when you're ready. So that was the back side of the neck. Now let's go to the front and side of the neck. So with this one, we'll simply turn our head slightly, almost looking 45 degrees off the body. From this head position, we'll tip the head back behind us, elongating that front side of the neck here. So if you feel this in kind of a different portion of your neck, you might need to reset your head. Again, slight turn of the head, and you tip the head back behind your shoulders, targeting that muscle that connects from collarbone up and across to behind the ear. And release that side when you're ready. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, that slight turn of the head, and then from this head position, taking the head back behind yourself. And release when you're ready. We're going to move into our chest opener stretch. We're also going to add in a little bit of that front of the neck stretch as well, with a tip of the head or looking up to the ceiling. So bring the arms behind your back. If you'd like to grab onto your hand or interlace your fingers. From this position, we'll pull our shoulder blades back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And we'll also simultaneously press our chest forward as big, as wide as we can, really expanding that chest area. Once you establish that chest stretch from here, simply look up to the ceiling and allowing those muscles throughout the front of the neck and throat to elongate as well. And when you're ready, go ahead and release that combo. And let's just focus on the shoulders here next. We'll start with our shoulder circles. So with those arms relaxed at your sides, whichever direction you'd like to start with, backwards or forwards, we will do both. We're gonna go through that full circular range of motion through that shoulder joint. So when you're ready, we'll change directions, go the opposite way. We'll do about the same number of circles through this direction. And then relax, pause those shoulder circles, and we'll just take one arm across the body and focus on the back of the shoulder. And when you're ready, release that first side. We'll do that same back to the shoulder stretch to the other side. Again, taking the arm across the midline of the body, using your free hand to help assist further into that stretch. And release that arm. Let's bring our elbows in our sides in kind of that T-Rex position. And we'll start with some wrist spins. We'll take this opportunity right now, loosen up those wrists and stretch out some of those forearm muscles. After a few spins the first direction, go ahead, change directions. Go the opposite way. We'll try to do about an equal number on this side. Then for today's wrist stretch, we're going to go into a gentle fist position, so not squeezing tight, gentle fist, and we'll stretch our arms out in front of us. From here, flex at the wrist, pointing the knuckles down. You might feel a stretch through that top portion of the wrist as soon as you flex the wrist, but we're going to add in a little bit of movement. So we'll turn the wrist, pointing the knuckles out to the side, and then up and in. And we'll slowly just oscillate between these two positions. If you do feel a tight spot and you want to hold it a little bit longer, go ahead and do so. And then continue rotating those wrists and forearms. And release when you're ready. If you need to, spread the fingertips out a few times. And let's go into one of our spine stretches here, specifically our cats and cows. So with this one in a standing position, we're going to come down into that crouched stance with our hands supported on our knees. From here, we're going to press the upper back to the ceiling, tucking the hips up underneath us. And we're going to hold for about 5 seconds. And after about 5 seconds, we're going to rotate the hips the opposite way and allow ourselves to lift our head and chest, trying to achieve that reversed arch position through the back. Okay. For about 5 seconds. And then we'll go back to that cat pose, pressing the back up, tucking the hips underneath your body. Hold for 5, and we'll keep alternating at your own pace between each position. And let's do one last one here. So if you're with me, up into cat, and hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rotate the hips, lift the head and chest, and hold cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stand up and relax out of that position. We're gonna go into our lateral flexion stretch here. So starting with that nice overhead reach, lifting up through the shoulder as well. We're going to tip across the midline of the body until you feel that stretch throughout the side of the torso. Once you achieve that stretching sensation, pause, hold, and just allow yourself to breathe as you hold this stretch. And release that side, and the same thing on the other side. Starting with that nice ball reach, then tipping to the side across the midline of the body. And release out of that stretch when you're ready. And now one for the hip flexors, very important for those of us that sit for long periods of time. So with this one, we'll take a step back, comfortable step back into a split stance with both feet flat on the floor. From here, we'll squeeze the glute muscles and then rotate the hip again, up underneath us. From this initial hip setup, you might feel a stretch through that pocket area of the pelvis. Hold this position here. If you'd like to, feel free to tip the shoulders back slightly to help elongate that hip flexor muscle even more. Again, when it comes to stretching, always trying to stretch to the point of stretching, never to pain. When you're ready, go ahead, release out of that side, and we're going to switch to the other side. Again, starting with that same initial setup. So stepping back into a comfortable split stance, both feet flat on the floor. We squeeze the glutes, rotate the hip bone up underneath your body. And then again, this might be enough of a stretch as it is, or you can always tip the shoulders back slightly, targeting that little bit deeper stretch. I say the pocket area of your pelvis. And when you're ready, release out of the stretch. We're going to try to get one more in within these last kind of minute and a half or so. So one for the hamstrings, we'll dig the heel into the floor, keeping the toe pointed up and legs stay straight. We'll sink our hips back and down at an angle, achieving that stretch throughout that back of the leg. We'll hold here for about those 15 to 30 seconds. If you'd like to, feel free to reach down, touch your toe, or grabbing onto your leg and pulling yourself deeper into that stretch if you'd like. And stand up, release out of that side. When you're ready, we'll switch and do the same thing on the other side. Again, heel into the floor, toe points up, legs stay straight the whole time. We sink our hips back and down at an angle until we achieve that stretch through the back of the leg. And again, when you're ready, go ahead and release. And that is it for our stretching routine for today. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed that routine. A lot of our basic ones, just that good solid opportunity to hold that stretch.